Hello, and welcome to another episode of Break the Cycle with me, your host, Joshua Smith. Hope everyone is having a wonderful, what is it, Wednesday? I think it's Wednesday. Man, I'm all messed up. I was in Boston for like 5 days. Had a great time there. Spent a lot of time with my friend Toad. Did the LNC meeting, and then I flew home. Was home late. I think I got home at like midnight. Woke up at 4:30 the next morning to go to work. Got home from work that night, went to sleep. The next day I had to work overnight. So last night I worked overnight, and now I have to go to work tomorrow morning. So life's been nuts for me. That's why we haven't done any shows since I've been home. But we got a great show for you guys tonight. I'm going to be drinking some coffee, seeing if I can stay awake for it. But as usual, my days are kind of blending together, and I don't really know what day it is. Is it Thursday? It's not Thursday. It is Thursday. Damn it. I thought it was Wednesday. Last night was Wednesday. But anyways, let's talk about some sponsors. Of course, we have toplobster.com, the man, the myth, the legend, my good friend and partner on Break the Cycle, where you can get this great Epstein Didn't Kill Himself shirt that you see me wearing tonight by using BTC at checkout for a 10% discount. Or you guys can join the Patreon and subscribe star, or become a member of the YouTube channel under all of my videos by hitting the join link, where you can get into a private Discord server with a really awesome community of people and get all of Top Lobster's new gear up to, like 2 weeks before it goes to the general public at like a 30% discount. Really worth it, guys. Definitely check it out if you can. And of course, executive producers of the show, anthemplanning.com, for all your emergency and crisis planning needs. Check them out today, see what they can do for your business, home, or personal life. They're doing a wonderful job that the government has historically sucked at, much cheaper and much more efficiently. Seriously, if you own a business, go check them out today. I got an email from the gentleman who's working with them currently that watched the show, and I want to get him on or have some kind of testimonial or something so you guys can see that they're good people doing good things. They're also really entrenched in the Delaware State Party. I got to hang out with them this past weekend in Boston. They came and we got some big wins for the Mises Caucus board. So I'm pretty excited for that. Guys, we have an awesome show for you tonight. Many months ago, I started in the Tower Gang chat, and we started towering blue checks. It was an awesome time. There's a lot of really cool people in there, man. And some stuff has sprung from it. Of course, the Tower Power Hour podcast that a lot of you guys are familiar with. But aside from that, this guy's been one of my favorites. He is a trash man by trade and a shit poster by night. He is Mr. Garbitch Mane. Bro, how you doing tonight?
What's up, man? I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. I'm glad to have you on, man. It was funny because I think we were talking about the show, and then you were like, let's sit down and talk about family law, because that's something that you've dealt with, something that I've been through, something millions of Americans around the country have had to deal with. But I don't think you realized that I was like, yeah, let's do it on the fucking show. And so, and then I wanted to do it earlier this week. Of course, I got a little bug coming home from Boston. I felt a little sick, and then I just had too much going on with work to get the show done. But I'm glad to have you on now, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. Hope you're feeling better.
Yeah, I got a gnarly migraine, dude. But I think it's because I didn't really get much sleep last night, and I didn't get any sleep last night. I was at work, and then I came home, slept during the day, something that I never do, and that'll mess you up, man. So before we get started with our talks of tales and and family law and shitposting and our war with the blue checks, why don't we start out with your journey to liberty, man? How did you get to where you are today?
Well, hope we got enough time. I've pretty much been an anarchist since I have had any political inclination, I guess. I started skateboarding when I was about 10 years old. I'm 31 now. So that's kind of an anti-establishment movement, or at least it used to be. Kind of been co-opted now. But, punk rock skateboarder kid. I was riding the city bus home from school one day, joking with some friends about anarchy. And some burnout hippie dude on the bus was like, hey, you guys don't know what anarchy is. It really just means governing yourself. I was probably about 14 years old at the time, and I had never really thought about it like that. And from there, I kind of, did some exploring and talked with friends about it, and didn't really dismiss the idea. When you're young, you're like, oh, a lot of people I see on Twitter, anarchy is a child's thought or whatever. But for me, it was kind of the opposite. The thought that you'll be the first one to die under anarchy or whatever, that shit.
Right. And
it started kind of clicking for me. And then 2008 was my first chance to vote. Not that I'm a big voter or anything, but let me rewind a second. So in high school, the only anarchists that I knew of were left anarchists. So I guess I was kind of a white mutualist.
Oh, geez, the white mutualist. Oh, shit.
But then 08, 07, 08, there was the Ron Paul campaign, and that kind of really grabbed my attention and showed me that there's a different kind of flavor to it. Not that Ron Paul is an anarchist, but the value of property rights and things like that. So I voted for Ron Paul in the 08 primary. That was my only time voting. So I got a pretty clean voting record as far as that goes. But after that, I kind of fell out of it. I kind of saw, the writing on the wall of how he was treated by the media, and that they would never give like a real opportunity or chance to someone who's, even wants to reduce the size of federal government, let alone eliminate it altogether.
Right. Well, it's funny you talk about the clean voting record. I sit on the Libertarian National Committee. I've worked for lots of libertarian candidates. None in my area ever, right? So never anybody that I could vote for. I did vote for Ron Paul in 2008. Obviously, I worked on his campaign, so it was like a big deal to vote for him. And then I wrote in Ron Paul in 2012 over Gary Johnson. And then in 2016, I stayed home and didn't vote. And then in 2020, I also didn't vote. So, I'm pretty anti-voting as well, and I'm not going to vote for a candidate I don't believe in. So I get it. Like even though I work in national politics, I still can't vote for some of the people that we put up. You know what I mean? It's pretty crazy. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of Joe. I wasn't a big fan of Joe Jorgensen. Had Spike Cohen been at the top of the ticket, I would have likely voted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would take a Spike over Joe.
Yeah, any day.
For sure.
Well, let's so how'd you get into the garbage business, buddy? How'd that come about?
Well, it's kind of tied into my daughter, right? So my daughter was born January of 2017. I had a friend of mine. I was working two jobs. I was a camera operator for a TV show, and I was a doorman for a local bar by my house back in Nashville. And I had a kid on the way, and I needed, a decent job that was more steady and good benefits, so I could, provide for my new family.
Sure.
So that's kind of how I got into it. A friend of mine referred me, and I started off as a collector, ground man, and then I moved forward and got my CDL. Not a Class A, sorry.
Reed. No, Reed's gonna be upset.
I got a Class B with an air brake endorsement, and technically a heavy equipment operator. So
sure.
I've been doing it for about 5 years now.
There's so many Liberty truck drivers, man. It's wild.
Well, you can see why. I mean, the state obviously has a lot of influence on their work,
sure.
Unfortunately.
Sure, absolutely. Toad, thanks for the $10 super chat. He said, some money for Garbitch to put toward getting me a black woman.
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the Tower Gang boys.
Yeah.
Toad and his black girlfriend. And I know Cole's a busy man, so it's hard to peel him away from those books that he loves to read. But
yeah. Let's be honest.
I wouldn't be here.
Cole's not reading no books, man. That guy ain't reading. Let's see. Libertarian Podcast Review, $10 super chat. Thanks, brother. He said, for my two favorites. A big fan of yours too, Yonky. You already know it. He's a good dude.
Yeah, in preparation for this show, I watched your episode with him and also your episode with Mark Claire. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Mark's a good friend of mine, man. I've told the story a million times on the show, but the first time I ever met Mark, I flew into the Libertarian Party of Louisiana's state convention on a whim. I left on Friday morning, and I was supposed to be there by Friday night, and I didn't even plan on going prior to that. So I bought the ticket that day, flew in. Could not find a hotel because WWE's WrestleMania was in town. Everything was I know, I saw it. Everything was booked fucking solid, dude. And so I ended up staying in the French Quarter at some little rundown crack motel. There was people ODing in the lobby and shit. The room was $45 a night or something. And it was 6 blocks away from Bourbon Street. And so I was by myself, and I'm like, well, the convention doesn't start tonight. It starts tomorrow morning. I'll go down to Bourbon Street and see what's going on. And I'm walking down Bourbon Street, and everyone's dressed up like different wrestlers, and people are chanting WWF shit. And here comes Mark Claire walking up the street, dude. I'm like, what the fuck? And so we partied all night long, dude. All night long. I had to, yeah, it had to be 5 o'clock in the morning. I finally told him, all right, dude, I gotta get back to my hotel. I gotta go give a speech next to Nick Sarwark tomorrow. You know what I mean? But Mark is one of my good friends. I love that guy to death, dude. He's so fucking cool.
Yeah, I really enjoy Lions of Liberty, what they're doing, and especially the debates they host are really, I think they're a good thing.
Oh yeah. They do bring together some really good debates, man. Obviously, Dave Smith every once in a while goes on there and just wrecks whoever the fuck he's. I mean, that Archie debate was probably one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
That and the Andy Craig one is just.
Yeah, it's like both of those guys can type. You know what I mean? They're like typing all furiously pissed off, and then you get them in front of a camera. And they're like, well, you guys are racists, and it's like, shut the fuck up.
That's my favorite Dave is when he's just going for the guillotine. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, dude. He's cut people's heads off, bro, all the time. He's got to keep them on his mantle for sure, man. Yeah. Speaking of Dave, what do you think about white people cutting their tails off, dude?
All right. So when I first joined Twitter, I joined and I was making, I had some political inclination, but I joined and I was making like a game stream account pretty much. And I would find these political posts. And it's a deep, like, I guess, I don't know if it's Hotep, because I wouldn't really call it Hotep. I don't know if the Hoteps believe this or not, but like a deep black conspiracy that white people are born with tails. And I've been trying to get to the bottom of it ever since.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now that we're kind of, put on the spot, I mean, we are born with tails and we do have them cut off when we're very, very young. It's a big white person thing. It was supposed to say like a secret between white people, and now it's out of the bag, man. I don't know. I mean, it's okay.
That's where all the racial supremacy is stored in our tails.
Yeah, we stored in our tails, and then we cut it off out of shame, and now we can't balance very well. We're not very good at sports, shit like that. It sucks, No, but seriously, let's talk about the family law system, man. What's your experience with family law?
So 2016, I ended up getting a woman pregnant. It was kind of an unwanted or unplanned. I wouldn't say unwanted now, but at the time, yes, it was unwanted. We tried to have an abortion. I would never consider that even an option again. We did the $800 whatever Planned Parenthood pill. Thankfully, I'm not a big statist or whatever, but thankfully Tennessee had laws where up to a certain point in the pregnancy, you couldn't do a surgical abortion.
Right.
So regardless of what you think about statism, I'm thankful for that law.
Well, especially now because you have your daughter, right? So
yeah. And I'd go through hell and back just to have her here. But 2017, she was born. I took the job working as a garbage man, try and provide. I got us an apartment or a duplex, 2-bedroom. Baby mama signed the lease, and I don't want to throw baby mama under the bus too much on this episode because her and I get along a lot better now than we did before. But she signed the lease agreement, and then when our daughter was 6 months old, she left out of state to Texas, and I didn't know what my options of recourse were. So I went to the state to try and find out, how.
Oh shit! Hold on, we lost you, buddy. I don't know what just happened here. Let's see what happened. Sorry, buddy, we lost you.
The judges and lawyers. It's not the parents, and it's definitely not the kids. So if I could do, I know I'm mostly just a shit poster online. But
can you hear me?
If I could do anything.
We cut out for a minute, buddy. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. I was saying when I went to see my lawyer, my first consultation, she told me, the only people who win in this process are judges and lawyers, and it's not the parents, it's not the kids. So I know I'm mostly just a shit poster, but if I could do anything in the liberty sphere space or whatever, just to move the needle in the right direction as far as, making things better for kids, would be my pet project.
Sure. Yeah. And for anybody who's followed me for a long time, they know that I have been through the absolute fucking ringer with the family law system. Fought for custody of my son that doesn't live with us. So I do have one kid that doesn't live with us. For people that don't know, that's an extra kid. But my daughter as well for almost 10 years. And, it took some really bad shit for me to finally get her. And, I try not to be the guy that's like, oh yeah, guys are the only people that get fucked by the family law system, right? Like it's only men that get fucked, because that's simply not true. Occasionally women do, but the vast majority, dude, of people who get fucked by the family law system, as far as parenting goes, is the man. It doesn't matter how good you are, what you do, how much money you make, all that shit. It's like right away you're treated like a visitor in your child's life as opposed to a co-parent or a parent. And I mean, it's like that from the very beginning of the whole process. I mean, as soon as you walk into court, you're looked at like you're a visitor in your child's life, and that and you have to fight. You have to fight for time. You have to fight to take care. I mean, you really have to fight. The only thing you don't have to fight for is for them to take half your money
or more.
Yeah,
depending on how they base the child support. And that's what really bothered me about watching your appearance on the show that will not be named. But they tried to go after you for child support payments, and a lot of times those child support payments aren't based on what it actually costs to raise a kid.
Not even close.
Yeah, there's literal goblins that are on social media that are training women to go out and basically leverage the family courts to their advantage and view their kids as a profit or a check than kids. Sure.
Well, I don't talk about the story too much on the show, but when I first got hit with child support payments for my son, I had a full-time day job. I was making about $970 or something like that after taxes every 2 weeks. It wasn't very much money. I was relatively youngish, living in Oregon. It was kind of cheap. It wasn't too bad. I was trying to go to college, and I was bartending 4 nights a week. And so when we went through the child support calculations, they completely speculated on how much I was making in tips, and over speculated by a lot. And they hit me with the final number. It was like $1,269 a month, $1,269 a month, dude. So before all that calculations went in, I lost my bartending job, but I was still working a day job. I was getting ready to start nursing school. And so I went to her lawyer and I said, hey, look, I don't have this bartending job anymore. I can't cover that $1,269 a month. That's more than half of what I'm making every month. You guys will put me in the poorhouse. I'll be living in my car, all that shit. And she goes, so too bad. Sorry. You'll have to find a way to make up that lost income. And so for 2 years, they held me to a double income. I mean, like a double time job salary. Right. And I think it was actually $947 I was making after tax every 2 weeks. They were garnishing half of, and this is another thing they always use that these shitty people online always use that I'm being garnished for child support. Well, the state of Oregon, where my family law case is, auto garnishes all child support cases, all of them. 100%. That's what they do. That's how you cannot, unless you work for yourself, then you could go down and pay it. They automatically auto garnish. I mean, anywhere I go and start a new job, within 2 weeks of starting a new job in any state that I've ever been in, they automatically start garnishing my wages, because that's how the state of Oregon does it. But anyway, so they were garnishing, because they can only garnish 50% of your wages, right? No matter what your price is. And so they were taking.
I think it's different state to state.
Sure. Oregon is 50%. And so they started right away garnishing $947 a month for me. Okay. I was trying to live off less than $1,000 a month while I was putting myself through college. Okay. And every single month I was going, $300 into their arrears every month for 2 years. And so
were you able to see your kid at that point? Or
yeah. So I was seeing my child at this point. Right. And so everything was good. I was like, whatever, this sucks. I was like living in and out of my car and like trying to put myself through college. And I was still seeing my son on Sunday mornings, and then Tuesday, Thursday evenings. But no overnights yet. I went through this whole like mediation, and then I did like I had like a what do they call it? an evaluator, and I sat down with the evaluator, and she's all, "You're doing everything right. You're a really good dad. I don't have anything to say to you." But they were paying for the evaluator. My son's mother's family were paying for the evaluator, but I didn't think anything of it at the time. I was a stupid kid. I never dealt really with this type of family law, this kind of case that I was going through. And so I was like, "Oh, she thinks I'm a great dad. I'm doing really well. She's gonna help me out in court." And then she totally sided with the mother on everything. You know what I mean? It was like, I totally railroaded me in court. And then I couldn't afford my lawyer anymore. So I had to, you know what I mean? Like, I had to go and represent myself. I had no fucking idea what I was doing at the time. And it was just an absolute mess, dude. And I got dragged through the fucking mud. And yes, I went well behind what I should have in arrears. But then, 3-4 years later, after all this shit's already, happened, we go back to renegotiate child support because it's been dropped since then. I mean, I'm only paying like $800 and something a month now. We go back to renegotiate and find out she's been lying about paying for childcare for a certain amount of time, right? And I'm looking at the court and I'm going, "You guys have been charging me this exorbitant amount of child support all this time, right? And
yeah, they don't even check receipts.
No.
At least when
we found out that her mother-in-law was handwriting receipts to give to her to take to court. She came in with like a plastic bag full of them, and they just took it at face value. But then we found out that wasn't the case, and so they had to drop some child support, back off the back pay and all that stuff. But during this time, right, I missed one day with my son because I was sick, and I sent her a message, "Look, I'm hella sick. He's a baby. I don't want to, I don't want to get him sick. So I'll see you next Sunday. No big deal," right? So she didn't say anything about it. So the next Sunday, I come to pick him up. I'm 2 minutes late. I'm driving into the parking lot, and she's driving out of the parking lot. She's all, "Sorry, you can't see him. You're late." And I'm like, "You got to be fucking kidding me," right? And then, so at this point, I'm pretty well behind in child support, because of all the craziness that I've been dealing with. And so I come to pick him up the next weekend, and she comes running out of her work with a piece of paper, says, "Your license is suspended. You can't take him. You can't take him. Your license is suspended." And I'm like, first of all, that doesn't say that I can't take my son. It's still my scheduled day. You know what I mean? And she starts this huge fight, screaming in front of all these people at this restaurant.
Was your license suspended because of child support?
Because of child support, because I was far behind, yeah. And so she calls the police, and I'm like, "Here, take our baby. I'm going to go wait for the police. We'll get this all sorted out." So the police come, and the police is like, "Look, we're not going to wait down the street for you to leave with your son. Like, this is a civil matter. We don't care." You know what I mean? Like, we don't give a shit. And I'm trying to figure all this shit out as I go, And so I'm trying to be the nice guy, right? I'm like, "Okay, listen, you take him for the rest of the day. I'll try to figure this shit out. Next week, I'll come back on a bus if that's what I got to do." That was the last time I saw my son, dude.
Wow. How long ago was that?
It's been a long time now. I lost track. And so she is in violation of a court-ordered parenting plan, going around online telling everyone that I'm a deadbeat dad while I'm paying $800 a month in child support still to this day, right? And saying that I don't want a relationship with my son. Which is absolute horseshit. Meanwhile, I'm raising 7 children in my house, 2 of which I adopted. Okay. That aren't even mine biologically. 2 of them are stepchildren. One of them was my granddaughter. Like, and people could see that. People could see that I'm a good dad. People could see that I'm busting my ass to provide for my family. People can look at the child support records and see that I've been paying for my son for fucking years. And she's still going around in these spaces telling everyone that I'm a deadbeat and that, that I abandoned my son and that I don't, that because I think there's still like a small amount left in child support that I owe as well.
That's kind of like the public perception, right? Is that dads, single fathers are pretty much deadbeats
no matter 90%
of their time.
Right.
Yeah. And that single mothers should be lionized and no matter what, they can do no wrong. So
right.
It's kind of tough to navigate, especially, the thing that bothers me with a lot of people is that, a lot of people if you've never been through it, you don't really understand it. So I can understand their point of view on that, but at the same time, like using the state going after someone over like family law, unless you know how corrupt that system is, it's just like a weird gotcha to me.
True.
Taking the side of the state is.
I mean, we're talking about one of the most corrupt state agencies in the whole country. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean, it pretty much incentivizes, lying on, and for both parties, mother and father.
Sure.
Whoever wants to gain custody is kind of in a weird spot, and it's not really fair to the kid,
right?
And
They're
my
the
heart goes out to her, not being able to say, oh man, that's tough, and
they're the ones.
Really
they're the ones that will get. They're the ones that get hurt more than anything in this country. I mean, when it comes to the family law, that it's always the child that gets hurt. And I know I'm bitching about child support and how that went down and how the custody went down and all this shit. But at the end of the day, it's like, if you're using your child as a weapon, and the court is literally bolstering that, right? And they criminalize the poor. I mean, I don't know that there's a more clear cut case of criminalizing the poor than the family law system. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you can't afford this amount that we're telling you have to pay, so we're going to make you a criminal. We're going to take your driver's license away. We're going to take work license away. Now you're going to be more poor. And when you can't pay it, now that you're more poor and you can't pay it, we're going to put you in jail, right? Like, I never went to jail for it or anything like that. In fact, when all this shit started with her not letting me see my son, I stopped paying child support for 6 months, and they were going to put me in jail. Because I was like, I'm not paying you another dollar till you let me see my son. So I had to make my payment on time for a year after that. So they dropped the charge, or what, it was like a contempt charge or something stupid. And now that she's in violation of a court order, they're not doing shit to help me. You know what I mean? And it's like, can you see the lopsidedness here? Can you understand how fucking bad it is?
Yeah, not only that, but the psychological effects it takes on a parent to go through losing their child in a shitty custody battle. It's hard to stay on top of your case if you get off work and the first thing you want to do is just see your kid smile and give him a hug. And it's hard to go through life when, if you love your kid and you can't see him, it's tough.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. It's hell, dude. Like, it literally is hell. And it's hell on the kids too. My daughter is now 17. She's been with us for, going on 2 years now, thankfully. But she, when she showed up here, when we got her here, it had been, I want to say almost 10 years since I had regularly seen her. And she had all these things in her head, all these things that angered her and hurt her. And it's like, I didn't know how to explain it to her. Like, hey, everything that you think's happened is not exactly the way everything's happened. And here's where I was fighting. And you know what I mean? But it's like, you don't want to badmouth the other parent either, which is, it's hard to do sometimes. It really is.
Yeah, parental alienation is tough to tiptoe around. You want to tell your kid the truth, but at the same time, you got to understand that they're still a kid at the same time. So, it's a minefield, really.
It is, dude. It is. It's traversing a minefield of hurt too. Cause it's like these, there is a lot of hurt. There's a lot of hurt feelings. There's preconceived notions. There's a lot of things that come out of this, especially when you can't see your kid all the time. And I know when my kids are being alienated. Like, I know why. Has nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? Per se, has everything to do with, in one case, lots of drugs and not wanting the public to see your persona. And one of them is being used as a weapon and a, I don't know how to explain the other one. She it's almost like Munchausen by proxy syndrome. Like, she wants people to feel bad for her. So she uses my son to make people feel bad for her. And it's like, that's fucked, dude. That's a fucked thing to do to a child.
Yeah. It's, I think it has to do a lot with the perverse incentive structure, basically what the family court does is make the parents combatants,
Right.
Where, it doesn't incentivize them to get along. And I think I don't know if it's a bug or a feature, but, the family unit to me is inherently anti-state, because if you have an autonomous family unit, even if the government tries to shower you with, social and public benefits, an autonomous decision-making unit doesn't need an intrusive third party. And, when someone is using their kid as a leverage point, they can basically use the state to act against the other party.
Right.
And so it's really fucked up system.
Well, and the state's happy to do it because the state gets money, right? So every single child support case in this country, and we're talking millions of child support cases, has kickbacks for the government, right? The government gets, I can't remember the name of it. It's like Title V.
Those judges are getting paid. They're not sitting there for free.
Dude, it's and so that's why the court is incentivized to criminalize one parent, right, and take money from one parent. That's literally what they're incentivized to do, and it's because that's how they make a lot of their money. I mean, that really is it. I mean, the family law system, that's where they get their money. It's crazy to me, dude. The whole thing is fucking insane. Let's see, what do we got here? Medic Knight, thanks for the $10 super chat. Josh, wait. We had one from Alex. Alex Hatch, $10 super chat. She says she loves you, she loves us both and admires our dedication to our kids. Thank you, Alex. Alex is cool shit. She's OG Tower. Yeah, she's OG Tower.
She's the one who gave me this shirt. So
nice.
Shout out to Alex and Top Lobster for his amazing, incredible art.
Yeah. Medic Knight, $10 super chat. Josh, do you and Garbitch Mane think Biden will get us involved in a war with Russia over Ukraine? Seems like it's heading that way. I guess Afghanistan was just a front to cover for this. I think that, first of all, I don't think Joe Biden is doing anything at all. I think Joe Biden is an absolute fucking puppet for an administration that is blood-soaked monsters. And of course, they want to get us in any war they can because war has lined the pockets of these people for a long time. And ending the Afghanistan war was a big hit to the military-industrial complex. I mean, what do you think?
Well, my garbage trucks are actually made by Raytheon.
Oh, shocking.
I'm just kidding. No, I defer to Scott Horton, and shout out to him, man. When I moved here, I've got a couple of friends. One I actually made playing Halo when I was 14, him and his family have been really great to me, but I reached out to Scott Horton, and he's been really great to me. But also, I mean, when Biden took office, he kind of warned about the U.S. pressuring Ukraine to join NATO, and I think that's where a lot of the problems are. For sure, Biden is incoherent and retarded, but
big time.
The establishment, the status quo. I mean, if you've ever read 1984, it's kind of I don't want to say prophecy, but it gives you some insight into how war can be profitable for the state, and makes you feel like, we were always at war with Eurasia,
right?
Kind of situation. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they're pushing for more wars. It's never a surprise. The CIA and the state agencies, the alphabet boys, have been destabilizing regions for as long as I can remember, longer than I've been alive. So,
well, I think it's funny because there's always this talk about how, America doesn't want to go to war with Russia. America doesn't want to go to war with China. I mean, these are superpowers. They don't want that kind of war. And it's like bullshit. America wants to go to war with any country they can. It's literally their bread and butter. I mean, American imperialism is how we line the pockets of some of the biggest corporations in this country. It's really how it works, dude. And if you don't understand that, you're either blind or stupid. I mean, really, those are your two options.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, to watch all of these forever wars our entire lives. I mean, I'm almost 40, right? I'll be 39 in March. And I joined the military right after 9/11. I was in Iraq within a year, or in the Persian Gulf, fighting the war in Iraq, going, what the fuck are we doing in Iraq? But that's the same time that the Afghanistan war started, right? The war in Afghanistan. And when it was retired,
it's because of our freedoms, Josh.
Oh, sure, yeah, absolutely. But this is when they retired the war in Afghanistan just here less than a year ago, there were people fighting in that war that weren't alive when we invaded Afghanistan, and that's fucking insane to think about. But you got to think about how many billions of dollars that war provided for military contractors, and we're talking big fucking huge big name corporations in this country, that are getting kickbacks from this war because they play cronyism with the federal government. You know what I mean?
Down to just literally nuts and bolts on aircrafts or tanks or whatever. It's insane.
Oh yeah. So of course they want to go to war with Russia, dude, because it would be the biggest war we've ever had. I mean, that's, you know what I mean? It would be huge. It would last, forever. And of course it'd start out probably like a Cold War proxy war style. And then it'd turn into this fucking terrible, terrible thing. And I don't know how any clearer it needs to be for you to understand that the federal government doesn't care if you die. In fact, your death is a a turning point for them. It's a jumping off point for them to use your death as a tragedy to continue wars, to continue taking power from the rest of these people. I mean, you are literally a pawn in their fucking game. That's it. That's all you are. They don't care.
You can kind of see that even with the. I kind of had a prediction that once the Afghan war was over, that they would be turning the war on terrorism inward, and we're seeing that kind of play out now.
Oh, sure. Through COVID,
vaccinated wreckers, or the parents that are fighting the CRT indoctrination.
Of course, yeah. I mean, if you're looking at
has no problem killing your family.
Oh, none at all. They'll fucking napalm your family for one lake, dude. You know what I mean? Like, they'll take every resource they can find and they'll kill anybody they can to get it. And yeah, they are turning the war inwards. I mean, that's what they're doing between COVID and climate change. I mean, they are literally looking at you and saying, we are declaring fucking war on you right now. And people are like, oh no, it's cool. I'll just take the booster. Don't worry about me. You know what I mean? It's like, you fucking idiots, dude.
Yeah, and people don't even question the like progressive agenda of most of those people that are pushing this stuff. Also, like, think that we should depopulate the earth and shit like that. So
just
what's the quickest way to depopulate? War, famine,
and medicine. Really, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, because of modern medicine, we've been able to live as long as we have now. But you know, at any time, that modern medicine could turn and take us back the other way, and it'd be very easy for them to do it. And I'm not saying that's what they're doing, but holy shit, can you look around and see what's going on?
Same companies that told us that, you know, like OxyContin was a safer alternative.
Oh yeah, Johnson & Johnson sold cancer-causing baby powder, for crying out loud, dude.
Yeah, and they face next to no liability for their products they push on the market. So, and it's a monopoly too, right? Because the FDA regulates all that shit. You don't have private competing firms, and you don't even have private regulators,
right, to,
you know, give you good alternative medicine.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, dude. It's crazy that we're all just watching this happen and going, no biggie. Like, dude, you guys realize that the war is on you. Like, it's literally on you. And these people that are like, well, no, it's because I went and got my vax and I'm good. It's like, no, motherfucker, they're going to keep pushing you. They're going to keep pushing you because they want you to fight back. That's what they want.
Well, I think a white pill for me is some of the normies I interact with, you know, the more the state tends to push people, the more it tends to alienate them.
Right.
So I think it's kind of a double-edged sword in that regard. You know, people are like, okay, well, I took my vax. Now can I go to the grocery store without having to wear this face diaper?
Yeah. No,
like,
you still got to.
Yeah. We have one case 30 miles away and we're going to lock you down. And I feel real bad for the people in some of the countries like Australia that are just going through the worst kind of tyranny.
Well, in Australia is bad, but people aren't really keeping an eye on New Zealand, dude. And that lady is a fucking psycho. And she's like legitimately came out on TV and said this, you know, this vaccine culture will never be over. So you guys better, you know what I mean? And like, she's telling you that she's never going to end these emergency orders. They're never going away. And you're just going to sit there and keep dealing with it until you're dead. What?
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't make Pfizer and Moderna and the rest of them much money if you're able to get the germ and get over it and have natural immunity,
which was totally fine before all this. I mean, that's what we did
before the vaccine. For Trump's vaccine came to the market.
Yeah, exactly. And well, it's so funny because I get the flu like once every 4 years. I get the flu. And then I don't get the flu again for 4 years. I've never gotten a flu shot. I don't get the flu shot. You know what I mean? Like, and my flu's typically pretty mild, except for in 2009, I had H1N1. That shit almost killed me. And I know other people that were my age in their, mid 20s that were very healthy that it almost killed. And we didn't shut down. We didn't shut the fucking world down. You know what I mean? We kept going to work. I worked at a bar at that time, dude. And I'd stand there around thousands of people every week, like thousands per week, right? And nobody said a fucking word. Everyone was like, oh yeah, H1N1, the swine flu, it's spreading. And everyone's like, all right, cool, man. Can I get another beer? Like, absolutely. You know what I mean? Like, no, nothing shut down. People just got sick. Some people died. Some people didn't. And that's the nature of viruses. And viruses typically mutate into something less deadly because they don't want to kill their host. They want to continue to be able to spread. And that's how we got the common cold. The common cold was the rhinovirus used to kill people. It killed a lot of people. It was a very strong virus that killed a lot of people. And now it's, you get a cold, you don't even stop going to fucking work. You're like, I got a cold, no big deal. You go to work. Like, that's what viruses do. And now we're talking about this Omnicron. I like to say it all fucked up. I know how to say it the right way. But and people
coronavirus.
Yeah, and everyone's like, oh, this variant is so scary because it's so catchable and it spreads so fast. And you're looking at all these doctors that are treating, they're like, everybody's like tired. Everybody's had is like tired and got stuffy sinuses, and that's it. And they're like, that's a fucking cold, dude. That's what it is. This is the answer to the pandemic. This is literally our answer. We wanted it to do this. We wanted it to mutate into something that was transmissible and not deadly. And now we're getting it. And now they're talking about reshutting everything down, remasking 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th shots. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. This is what we wanted. This is what we've been wanting the whole time.
Look, Josh, if you don't have your 7th shot, 7th booster, you're a white supremacist.
Dude, yeah, you're a racist, bigot, transphobe, dude, if you don't get your 7th shot. And it just blows my mind, dude. Like, and my family hasn't had it. We're not going to get it. You know what I mean? Like, and I posted this week, on December 8th, we were supposed to be walked out of the building at my job if we didn't have it. And there's 4 people in my department. That's it. Just 4 of us. And we all had our religious exemptions ready. And we were like, okay, well, it's Iowa. They're pretty good about religious exemptions here. We can do that. None of us fucking turned it in, dude. Right? Because none of us wanted to capitulate, dude, at all. At all. We said no. We said, if that's the case, if that's the policy going forward on December 8th, then December 7th will be our last day. Period. And they reversed it. There is no more mandate at work, and I feel like that's a victory for us. And I feel like other people should take note that don't want to, be coerced into this bullshit. They're not even releasing the data on this stuff for 75 years. 75 years. And you should be forced out of
we'll
your...
We'll be lucky to get the data then.
Oh, it'll be so redacted by then that you know what I mean? And it's like you want me to be coerced out of my way to take care of my family if I don't take something that's not going to have safety and efficacy data for 75 years? Get all the way fucked. All the way fucked. You know what I mean?
Well, thankfully where I'm at here in Texas, I haven't had to deal with much of it as of the past 8 months, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, you're in Texas?
Yeah.
I thought you were in Tennessee.
No, baby mama, she left Tennessee with our daughter 6 months. And after fighting through court, they wanted me to pay close to $900 a month in child support. Sure. She claimed server wage. And, I had how servers, they don't claim their tips on taxes and shit, which more power to servers and service industry people. I don't blame you for not claiming your taxes, but the way the family court system works, they try to, even out the pay. And
right.
They wanted me paying that on top of trying to pay my lawyer. And then they mandated that I buy plane tickets each month. I said, after a while, screw it. I'm just going to pack my things up and move so I can be closer to see my kids. It's just too much. But yeah, with the COVID stuff, the coronavirus, thankfully I haven't had to deal with much of it lately. I still see people with masks and shit, but that should be a choice. In my opinion, if you want to wear a mask, a face diaper, by all means, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you, but I
probably gonna laugh at you. But go ahead. Yeah.
I don't want the state to mandate that I wear one, and I should have the right to take my risk with the virus. I'm not vaccinated. I don't plan on getting my daughter vaccinated or anything like that.
Have you had the virus? Have you had COVID yet?
I haven't, and it's surprising because I deal with people's garbage every day.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I mean, you're dealing with people's garbage. You think you would definitely have it.
Yeah, I mean, there's some doctors and scientists that say, garbage and sanitation efforts have done more to end the spread of infectious disease than even doctors. So, I mean, I don't know if I necessarily agree with them. I'm not a doctor or a scientist, but I definitely come in contact with people's shit every day.
Sure. Oh, you come in with the nastiest of the nasty. I mean, we're talking people have been blowing their fucking COVID noses into tissues and you're picking them up. I mean, that's really what's going on every single day because we don't have biological waste from our homes. You know what I mean? It all goes out to the dump. And so maybe there's something to be said with all the germs that you have been in contact with for as long as you've been a garbage man, that maybe your immune system is
tempered in raw waste.
Yeah, maybe your immune system is just fucking beastly already because of that shit, you know. And there are some studies that say that depending on your DNA and stuff, that some people don't get it, and because of that, and who knows, bro? Who really knows? None of us really know what the fuck's going on.
I'd be real interested to see, studies on pregnant mothers who were pregnant and got COVID and then delivered kids.
Yeah.
What kind of immunity do those kids have?
Right. Well, we're pretty sure that Julia, she got tested while she was pregnant with my son, because she got really, really, really sick while she was pregnant. And the test came back negative. We were both very, very sick at the time, but those tests are so fucking unreliable. But she had,
they're kind of flimsy.
Yeah, she had like loss of taste, loss of smell, fucking lost her voice completely for like 4 days, which is one of the weirder symptoms of COVID. That for people who don't know, you can lose your voice for like 4 or 5 days. And so she had all these symptoms of it, and then tested negative. So I'm thinking probably she did while she was pregnant. And our son came out 8 pounds 13 ounces, super healthy, except he had a little hernia. So that was it.
Congrats on that. And,
Thanks,
listening to your story with Tyler and Mark, shout out to your fiance, man. She seems like a real one. When I believe it was on Mark's show, you were talking about you being able to get custody of your kids, and she was ready to go.
Yeah, I told her that I said, I think I have an opportunity to get my daughter. I could drive down there this weekend and pick her up. Great. When do we leave? And then right after it, without missing a beat, I said, and maybe her 2 younger siblings that aren't mine biologically, but they're going to go to foster care. Great. When do we leave? She never questioned it, bro. And she already had 2 kids, and we had a kid on the way. So I mean, that was adding at least 3 more kids to a 3-kid situation. And then we didn't even know at the time that my daughter was pregnant. And then, come to find out, well, she's going to have a baby too. It's like, fuck, that's 7, 2 babies. All right, well, we're going to do it, and she's
respect to you for taking on that responsibility as well.
Thanks, man. Yeah. It's, I love these kids to death, dude. And it's great. They both call me dad now. And, they've been, the growth that they've made since we've taken them in is probably the most rewarding thing. Like to see them a year later, and all that they've done and come through and the challenges that they faced when they got here too, with the schooling and stuff like that, stuff that they had never done. I mean, it's just really just a absolutely beautiful thing, man. And I'm very proud. I'm very proud, Papa, for sure.
Yeah. It's to me, it's the most rewarding thing I've ever done, is have a kid. And not only that, but, see how she responds to being loved. And I think that's like, there's no better feeling to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Jessica Mitchell, thanks for the $5 super chat. He said, do you think the tells have something to do with the whites not washing their legs?
Probably. I mean, shoot, if, we're in the shower and we're really just looking for our tails and we keep missing.
Yeah. It's like, if you can't feel the tail, it's hard to clean the legs, dude. That's how we know when we're at the waist. No, I was, I made a post on Twitter a while back, said that don't forget to wash your legs, kings. You know what I mean? But I wash my legs. Maybe it's because I'm, I got some Middle Eastern in me. I don't know. Let's see. Adam, $5 super chat. Thanks, brother. He says, they don't want you to know this, but immunity is actually stored in the tail.
I wouldn't doubt it.
That's fucking hilarious. Well, brother, we're at the end of the public live stream. Where can all these wonderful people follow you and listen to you and check you out, support you, all that great stuff?
If you want to follow me at waste_Mane, MANE on Twitter. And that's pretty much it where you can follow me.
We're all waiting for your Liberty podcast to come out, bro.
I need to quit pussyfooting around and get to it. Trash Talk episode 1. I don't know who the first guest is going to be, or if I'm just going to fly solo, but yeah, I need to make sure it happens. And shout out if you're watching this on Odyssey. I may do just Odyssey exclusive because I don't really fuck with YouTube like that.
Yeah, well, and you can live stream to Odyssey now, which is pretty cool. You know what I mean? And but yeah, I'm doing YouTube now because, well, it helps pay the bills, and eventually I'm sure I'll be over at Odyssey, and it's just kind of one of those it's one of those realities that I just know is going to happen. And so when it's time, it's time. But as soon as Odyssey works with Restream, I'll be streaming here and Odyssey every show. But right now it doesn't work with Restream, so I can only stream here, unfortunately.
It's only going to get better. It's still in the infant stages. But shout out to Drew Hancock and the folks over at Odyssey.
Oh yeah, and Drew's been in the chat tonight. I'm a big fan of Drew and Odyssey and all those guys, man. Before we go, would you consider, instead of having your podcast called Trash Talk, now hear me out, this is a really good name for a podcast, The Thing About Boners?
The Thing About Boners. I would consider it. Sure, I'll consider it.
Awesome, brother. Hey, well, thank you so much. If you could just give me like 2 minutes to close this out, we'll start the members only stream.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, brother. All right, guys, another awesome episode to break the cycle. Garbitch Mane's super cool, dude. Go follow him. Seriously, I've been in chats with him for a long time, and he's fucking hilarious. So go hang out with him. And then, of course, go check out our sponsors, toplobster.com, the man, the myth, legend, my good friend and partner on Break the Cycle, where you can get this great Epstein Didn't Kill Himself shirt that you see me wearing tonight, or the great Tower Gang shirt that you saw Garbitch Mane wearing tonight by using BTC at checkout for a 10% discount. Or you can join the Patreon Subscribe Star or become a member of this here YouTube channel under all my videos by hitting the join link, where you can get into the private Discord server and an awesome community of people and get all of Top Lobster's new gear up to 2 weeks before it goes to the general public at like a 30% discount. Really great stuff, guys. I promise you won't be disappointed. What's up, Glitch 3D? Asked me, is there anything I miss about California? Yes, I really miss my grandmother very much. That's probably the thing I miss the most about California. Of course, I miss mountains, oceans, all that great stuff, the great weather in the summer or in the winter where it doesn't really drop below 50 degrees. And now I deal with negative 30. But I do not miss so many things in California that it actually makes up for it in the long run. Guys, go check out our executive producers, anthemplanning.com, for all your emergency and crisis planning needs. Check them out today. See what they can do for your business, home, or personal life. They're doing a wonderful job that the government has historically sucked at, much cheaper and much more efficiently. Seriously, if you own a business, go check them out right now. Seriously. I promise you will not be disappointed. Guys, coming up on the show tomorrow, my buddy from Slow News Day is going to be here. That's going to be a lot of fun show. He's going to be spitting that Liberty shit, no doubt about it. I'm very excited for it. Guys, if you want to come hang out with myself and Garbitch Mane in the members only chat, all you got to do is join the YouTube under all the videos. You get into the live after hour streams. I try to do them after every show. We don't do them after every single show, but most shows have them. That's where we talk about all the cool stuff. We'll probably talk a lot more about Tales in there. So do that. I'll see you tomorrow for the show with the Slow News Day. Until then, don't forget to break the cycle.
Due to legal reasons, I just have to explain. The lyrics of my last song may seem to contain a violent call to action in the verse and refrain, but I just meant it in Minecraft. The helicopter part was in reference to GTA 5 and the things you do. So any violence you commit, I am not an excuse, because I just meant it in Minecraft. A trooper is my friend and he's constantly cold. Accusations of incitement getting totally old. Make your own choices, yeah, you have control, because I just meant it in Minecraft. Obviously I would never advocate force, unless there's due process and a trial, of course. And if you're convicted, we will make you a corpse in Minecraft, just in Minecraft. Nothing I mean, you know it. No product dinners cause it closed for COVID. Holy shit,